Hi, my name is Liam Steers. I'm supervised by Dr. Andy Take in the Department of Civil Engineering, and my research is focused on the static liquefaction of granular slopes. Well, coming from high school, I knew that I was always interested in science and mathematics. Engineering seemed to be a natural choice. I'm the fourth generation of engineer in my family, so there's my grandfather, my dad, myself, and I guess my great-grandfather as well. But in my undergrad, instead of doing civil engineering, I decided to do geological. Kind of fit the trend that my family goes through. My grandfather was a geological engineer as well, and his father was a mining engineer, so it seemed to be a natural choice. And taking the first year geo course really inspired me to go into the geo stream, learning about landslides and earthquakes, just really just seemed to fit what I was interested in. And after I graduated, I worked for about a year and a half, 2 years, for a geotechnical site investigation company. I did often feel that I would come back and do a graduate degree. I just didn't know when. And after graduating and getting a bit of work experience, I just felt that it was time to go back and pursue what I always wanted to do. I always had a passion for landslides, and having taken Dr. Take's undergrad geotechnical course, I realized that this is the supervisor that I wanted to work with. I found his research to be quite interesting, and I knew that he was a leader in his field, so I thought this was a perfect situation. My research focuses on the static liquefaction of granular slopes. So what I'm doing is I'm doing modeling with a centrifuge out in Newfoundland. We're testing at 30 G on a 5 centimeter thick slope. So 5 centimeter thick slope under 30 G makes it seem like it's 1.5 meters in thickness, making it a more realistic problem. You're never going to have a landslide that's 5 centimeters thick. So doing this, we get a more realistic slope, but also testing under G, we are able to make these tests that might actually take months or years to perform. We can do them in a matter of hours. So we get real-time results much quicker. And I'm using a process called digital image correlation with a piece of software that my supervisor, Dr. Take, developed in his PhD to actually track specific pixels of images in these slides so that we get an idea of their displacements and how quickly that they're moving. From my personal experience, I find going out and getting work experience is quite beneficial. And then coming back and doing grad studies. So for example, in my undergrad, I took a bunch of courses that talked about various types of field testing that you do. And they give you a very brief overview of what it is, and they show you some plots of the data that's collected. And they say, this is what this is, just run with it, just test it. But having gotten that work experience and knowing how that data is collected, how it's interpreted, how the consultant then goes and uses it, gives me a broader understanding of the strengths as well as the weaknesses with particular tests, and how we can then later apply them to actual design. If you're on the fence, go for it, because there's really no downside to it. You get some experience towards your PEng, you become a specialist in the area that you're researching, which can be very appealing to employers. Something appealing to graduates is that once you graduate, you have a higher starting salary more often than someone with an undergraduate degree. And it's just 2 years. In the long run, that's not going to affect your overall career negatively. It can only affect it positively.